Hey vinyl community, Steve here, FlipSideCT. So, last two videos I did were, one was a show that I went to, which was a while ago, but I showed some finds from there and some online purchases. That had, I think, Izzy Stradlin, and anyway. Then I also did a video about 140 records that I purged from my library. Records that I, will listen to. I think they're cool to have. I wish I could just keep them and own them. Had my space, but funds were low, so buying something that I really wanted was a little more important, and I did that. So I got a good chunk of money from it. Not great, but good chunk. Bought about 5-6 albums. I'm looking over at my area. The records are just spewed all over the place, and just sitting back and reading in this area. I was off for like 11 days, so I was just really lounging and having a good time. So I don't want to get too much into detail. But I'm excited to show what I'm going to find. I do have a album review I'm going to do. Not the original one I wanted to do, but a new one. Something I'm really happy to talk about. And I had done a 3-part series for Max's Kansas City, and they're not up anymore. I took them down due to a request and of somebody, and I respected that, so I had no problem doing that. Maybe, hopefully, in the future, I can maybe repost it about Max's Kansas City. Actually, one of the books, High on Rebellion by Yvonne Sewell Ruskin, is one that I recommend about Max's, and it talks about the whole time period up to about 74, 75. Anyway, those of you who watched it, thanks so much for supporting, and I hope you learned something. I know a lot of people have commented and really appreciate it. It was a lot of work and a lot of planning, but it was so worth it because I was learning, and I love doing it. It's a passion, labor of love, totally, to do this. Like I said, I had to take it down, the 3 parts, and I don't want to go into that, but we'll just leave it at that. And again, maybe I could post those up one day. I'll let you know. Thank you for the few people. I know Vinyl Richie, Steve Carlson, you are promoting it for me. And again, a lot of people commented and spoke highly of it. So thank you so much. It really meant a lot to me, especially when you put that much work into something. A lot of planning. Anyway, so it is. And so I have a bunch of albums here. Some I'll describe where they're from. But before I go, this book, The Downtown Pop Underground by Kimbru McLeod, talks about New York City, the literary punks, the renegade artists, do-it-yourself filmmakers, playwrights, rock and roll glitter queens, and people that revolutionized the culture. About the 60s and 70s, and just a good detailed book here. Excellent reviews. It's new. Some pictures. I'm really psyched to read this. Talk about New York City. It's just Stone's Voodoo Lounge World Tour Program, 94.95. I collect the programs. This was about $15, and I couldn't turn it down. I think that's about the going price for this. It's not a rarity one. I do know the Voodoo Lounge has an uncut live series. I did talk about a while ago about my little Voodoo Lounge Stones when I showed the album. Anyway, so I do have a few albums here, and let me get to these and jump in. This artist is a favorite by many. You see him now and then pop up. As far as guitarists, I don't think there's anybody that could dislike this man. Mick Ronson. He has 2 solo albums officially, and they're not super strong. You gotta listen to. I mean, they're great. They're good to have. They're really something that should be in the rock and roll's library. But this one's called Just Like This, and I forgot that there was a whole write-up in here. I didn't even read it, so I'm just going to talk about what I know. So this is a reissue from 2018. I paid about $20 for this. I don't know where you can get it now, but you should be able to find it somewhere. He recorded this in November, December of '76 with his own band. And his own band, he was touring also in the areas. He was touring with Rush, Black Oak, Arkansas, James Gang, and that was about in '76 and the time he was doing this. And he recorded these songs in what's it called? Bearsville Sound Studios. That might be Todd Rundgren's place up in New York, Catskills. Also in the barn, at the barn in Woodstock. And so he had like a lot of songs. The CD came out in '99 and it had a whole list of songs. The vinyl only has 7 songs. I'll take it. It's not like the CD with a lot of outtakes, other things, but these weren't really mixed well. They're not super polished, but they're still brilliant. The RCA company label basically didn't care for the movement and the selling, the amount of sales with Mick's prior albums, so they sort of just pushed this out. It was Mick Ronson's widow in '99 who pushed for this and put it out again as his lost 3rd album. And he died in '93, so 6 years later. And outstanding. It's just brilliant work. It's just beautifully well done sound. It's just pure Mick Ronson at his best. It's not the flashy Bowie. Mick, again, look Mick Ronson up if you have no clue what I'm talking about, and see the folks that are associated with him. Anyway, so I talked about him touring, and he was living in New York, and this time he was with Ian Hunter also. He eventually did tours with Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople. So anyway, it's just a must-have album for any Mick Ronson fan if you can find this, because it's so beautiful. I met somebody, a gal, maybe in her 20s, and she was just cool. She was sort of this rockabilly gal with the tattoos and little piercings, very bright, very in tune with things. We were talking about Fred Armisen and his work, and we started talking about music, of course, and I'm asking her what her influences are, and she was a rockabilly gal, and she said Bob Wills. I knew Bob Wills, but I didn't own anything. So Bob Wills and his Playboys. He was from 1935 to about 1976, a lyricist, a musician, a band leader, and he basically led this genre. It was everything from cowboy, polka, Dixie, blues, folk, swing. He had it all. Western swing, dancing, country music. A cool album to have. You see this around, not too expensive, and real fun. Waylon Jennings actually wrote a song called Bob Wills is Still King. So that's the influence that he had with the country folks. In fact, the Stones played that song in their Bigger Bang tour. I forgot what year, but they sang that song also. Speaking of Waylon, I got these at a show in New Haven, Connecticut. The Taken and Tulsa, Waylon Jennings. This was sealed, about $15. What can I say? It's Waylon. It's great. 1971. I want to thank the VC for recommending this album. I know, Hannah, you pushed me over the top to get this. Frigid Pink. This was $30. The album is just pure clean. So I paid about $25 for this, but it was really good. What can I say? It's something that wasn't key for the collection. Klaus Schulze, his first one, Ehrlich, and this has got 3 songs on it. This is a German pressing, and wasn't too much money either. Very glad to get this one. His first one, and I think I need one more. This is Brain label. From a store, I'm jumping over to a little bit more of classical guitarists. His name is John Williams, not the composer, not the band, the leader, and Julian Bream. This is called Julian and John. Beautiful music for guitar playing, and really inspiring for me to have this very, very lovely sounding guitar work here. Look for John Williams and Julian Bream. So I got that at a store, Drosa, and Midnight Blue, Kenny Burrell, speaking guitars. This is a must-have for the collection. Beautiful, perfect jazz playing for me. Reissue, this was $21. Blue Note. Record Store Day, I had to go out, and I did buy this on Record Store Day, sort of at the last minute, because Iggy is, I missed out on a lot of Iggy outtake albums, so I'm trying just to catch up on them, and this is one I didn't want to miss out, from Raw Power. It's called Rare Power. A few of you showed this already, and it was just a must-have. It's Iggy. And last but not least, folks commented on my last Mick Taylor album, the live one, and this is one that he plays on 4 tracks. Now, the producer of this record, his name is Robin Millar. He married Mick Taylor's sister. So here's the connection. So I think Mick Taylor, it was just after It's Only Rock and Roll when he left the Stones. I think this is the first thing he did. The name of the band, I believe it's a French band. There's not much out there on this band or this album. Circle and Company, S-I-R-K-E-L. And this is French, just a few dollars. Funky, bluesy sound. Not like, oh my gosh, this is great, but it's Mick Taylor. He's on 4 tracks. I love it. I think Mick Taylor did the overdubs in London at Olympic Studios or Pete Townsend's studio in London. So again, nothing spectacular. This was like under $10, Charlie Records. Anyway, that's what I had to show you. Done. Like I said, I got a couple things coming up, and excited to show you, and we'll see how things flow. One thing I wanted to mention, and it's been on my mind, and those of you who are international, you got issues in your interior homeland, I'm sure, but we know the U.S. is in chaos right now. It's very, very hard to not be exposed to, I'm just trying to watch my words here, but not to be exposed to the presidential chaos that we're in right now. It's just really, the blood pressure goes up. It's just internal angst. It's anger, it's frustration of what's going on, and how one man could do this to the country, and it's just sick. So my point here is the music is such great therapy. I've said this before. This is wonderful to have. That's why I've been just sitting and playing and listening. It's priceless, especially with this turmoil we're going through. So I'm so glad I have it and get to share it. Take care, VC.